We are going to start the session in about 2 minutes. If you could take your seats, we'd appreciate it so we can start on time. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll have you seated here. She'll introduce you, and you can come up. We have water here for you.
I'll use this like this.
Okay, okay. We'll leave it there for you.
And you'll let me know if how about timing as far as questions and that kind of thing.
Well, if you need to do like 1 or 2 questions, it's fine.
Okay.
Like, let him talk as long as he wants.
Okay.
You ready to sit down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have the second seat, Marie. You have the first seat.
Oh,
so,
is someone going to pick
no, you.
it up?
You
Okay.
start. Okay.
Good morning. We're going to get started now. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you would, please take your seats. I am Marie Foster Nagy, Chair-elect of the AACC Board of Directors and also President of West Virginia University at Parkersburg. As a courtesy to all of our attendees, please turn off all cell phones or put them on silent, please. I am most pleased to be here today and am honored to introduce our speaker for this session. Pete V. Domenici served as a senator from New Mexico longer than any other person. During his 36 years in the Senate, he served as chairman and ranking minority member of the Senate Budget Committee. In addition, he served as chairman and ranking minority member of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. Senator Domenici currently serves as a senior fellow at the Bipartisan Policy Center, where he focuses on budget and nuclear issues, energy issues, and he also serves as a co-chair of the Debt Reduction Task Force. It is for his extraordinary experience, insight, and dedication to the nation's fiscal health that we have invited the senator to be with us today. There truly is no one better positioned to give us perspective on our country's budget challenges as we face an uncertain and unsettling landscape. But let me also say that in his time in the Senate, Pete Domenici was also a big supporter of many key education programs. He understood that education is an investment as much as an expenditure. For that, too, we are grateful. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Pete Domenici.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I guess we ought to really acknowledge that I'm a very senior senator, retired, getting old. Believe it or not, will soon be 80 in a few months. So I'm very grateful that I have been able to stay involved and do a little bit for the country that I love. But first I want to tell you that I'm not much of a storyteller. I think I need some water. So what I've done on storytelling and funny stories is to say that I came here with one funny story, and after 36 years, I left here with one funny story. And interestingly enough, the time was so desperate that it never caught on. So I was able to use the same story over and over. And that made life pretty easy. So I want to tell you this one because it's a story about a little bird. Not Robert Byrd from West Virginia. A little bird. In the springtime, it was kind of cool, and the little bird fell out of a bush and was chirping around on halfway dead on the ground, when a very intelligent and empathy-laden cowboy saw him and said, "Oh my goodness," picked him up, and the warmth of the cowboy's hand made the bird just react beautifully. And the cowboy said, "Now I got to go to town. What do I do with the bird?" So he walked into the corral and he saw a great big cow dropping, and he punched it in with his heel. And there was a nice nest, and he put the bird in and stepped back and said, "What a good fellow I am. The bird has a nest, and it's getting warm, and everything's going to be fine." And cowboy left, got his jacket on, left in his Ford pickup truck. And little did he know, the bird got really warm from the cow dropping and was put his head up and was chirping away. And the coyote that frequents the corral came around and went around once and twice, and all of a sudden went in, took the bird out of the cow mustang, ate it up, and that ended the bird. And we learned 3 big lessons from this. 1, it isn't always your enemies that get you into it. 2, it isn't always your friends that get you out of it. And 3rd, and most important, when you're in it up to your neck, keep your mouth shut. Well, I don't know who that applies to, but I can guarantee you it doesn't apply to me. What I want to tell you is that there are things that go wrong in a country that need fixing. And there are needs that go attended and unattended that are day-by-day problems. And you all and everything you do in vocational education belong in that category. You do things every day, important things for a lot of people, and things get done one way or another. Government suffices one way or the other. But, and while they're doing it, we have to acknowledge that among the educational institutions that we have around, without a doubt, the institutions that are doing the best for the people of this country, for the dollar expended, and for the need that is there are none other than the community colleges of America. There's no doubt about it. And I come to you not with a message on community colleges, except to say to you and your leadership, don't let the politicians mess you up. You have a terrific approach with autonomy at the local level as much as you can get, and serving the public that is in need of service in your area. And you don't want politicians to come along and change that for you for a few dollars here and there. It is a terrifically mobile educational system, and it's got great skill of moving back and forth and doing different things. So I laud you for that, and when I was invited to come, I was going to speak about the other problem, not the one or the two, but the next problem. Anyway, somewhere, somehow, about now, and an invitation was perfect because you're the right people to give this message to. So forget now for a while about community colleges. We do have some great examples in New Mexico, how you took expertise out into rural areas to community colleges, and they made transition away from just a mundane little community college to something really special for the area. We have examples of that in our state, but let's not talk about that today. Let's move on. As you should know, as Americans, and now I'm talking to each one of you, not in my capacity as elected official because I no longer am, and obviously nobody would dare run me. I'm so old that I couldn't possibly take the guff of running for public office. So I speak to each one of you as an American to see if I can convince you today that there is a big problem that is different than these two, and it's got to be fixed. So let us talk about the fact that we have, according to the Congressional Budget Office, a budget from our president which projects more than $1 trillion in deficits for the upcoming year. And if you use their more realistic baseline, we have a deficit of $1 trillion for as far as the eye can see. That means if we stay like we are not making any headway in diminishing this deficit each year, which combined year by year equals the debt. As a result, this nation, your nation, my nation, our country, is headed towards a fiscal situation that cannot be sustained. Our debt will be well more than 100% of the gross domestic product by 2027. And the historical average of that ratio over all the years of our existence is between 30 and 37%, and it will be 100. Now, people are not talking so much about balanced budgets these days because balanced budgets have become rather irrelevant because the debt and deficit are so big that you had to find something else to explain it. That's why we use this idea that I just exposed to you of the ratio of the debt to the gross domestic product. And ours is on a line like this. Where is it? See it up there? What does that say? Yeah, that's it. Debt reaches 100%, and you see the line after 100. Now that can't exist, friends, as fellow Americans. You cannot have an economy that's functional, have a dollar that is used by other people in trade. When you get to that point where it's up and away, none of these things that we're used to will work. So that's a very important thing for you to understand. Now, we criticize Greece, other European countries, for their fiscal follies, but we engage in the very similar activities as they ourselves. We think, or must think, that we're immune from the fiscal facts of life. Yes, we can bail out big banks, and yes, we can bail out Greece, but I wonder if we are thinking that maybe America is too big to bail out. America is too big to bail out. Well, friends, nobody has told me that. Nobody sits across the table when we talk about as a group, when we work for a year as a debt reduction task force with Alice Rivlin, Dr. Alice Rivlin and I co-chairing it, nobody sits across and tells us in testimony, it can't happen to us